Hello everybody and happy Wednesday. This is Dr. Heather Carden coming to you live from Overland Park, Kansas to help answer your questions about ketones, ketosis, and exogenous ketones. Pruvit really focuses on education, so we have a live every single Wednesday to help you answer your questions or optimize your experience with ketones, ketosis, and exogenous ketones. So welcome everyone today to Live's Q&A. Know that if you had friends or family that missed it, you can always tag them here or you can share this to your wall. And hello to everyone out there. I see Abigail, Christina, Ashley, so many amazing people on here furthering their journey on using ketones in their diet. Again, you can share this after the replay. You can share it to your own page. You can share it through Messenger. You can tag a friend. So it's here for everyone to learn more about ketones and ketosis. So we're going to get started here today with your questions. A little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Dr. Heather Carden. I am the co-owner of Carden Center for Wellness. I am also an independent promoter for Pruvit and one of your Pruvit specialists that come to you to help answer your questions. So super excited to be here for everyone in the US, Canada, Australia, and around the globe. So let's get started with your questions. What is ketones, or what are ketones, and what is ketosis? I know after 2 years, the word's popping up everywhere on your social media. Pruvit was here to bring it first to the conversation, so let's talk about what ketones are. Ketones are very simple. They're an energy source that our body makes out of burning fat. So simply, ketosis means your body's in a metabolic state where you're burning fat for fuel. Prior to having exogenous ketones, you either had to go on a very strict diet called a ketogenic diet where you're having only about 5% carbohydrates, or an endurance runner might experience being in ketosis after running several miles, or if you're on a fast for 2 to 3 to 4 days, you might experience a state of ketosis. Often children will experience this while they're sleeping because they're not eating. So when we're in ketosis, our body's using fat for fuel instead of sugar. Based on the standard Western diet that suggests we eat 45 to 65% carbohydrates, we are being sugar burners. That's why we see the rise in type 1, type 2, and type 3 diabetes. So very simple. Ketones are an amazing fuel source. It's our native fuel source. We actually come into this world burning ketones for fuel. And if you're breastfed or if you're using breast milk to feed your baby, it's actually very high in ketones. Our native fuel source where our body's in its most balanced state with hydration and immune system. So let's get started with your questions. So I had a couple questions earlier today saying make sure you addressed my GI distress. So as we know before, no one's brought exogenous ketones to the market before Pruvit because it's been a very tricky, I would say, molecule to get tolerable to your GI, and also knowing that it's very tricky to make it taste good. But Pruvit actually did that. We can drink exogenous ketone called beta hydroxybutyrate, or BHB. You can drink it and simply put your body into a state of ketosis in less than 1 hour. Again, we talked about starvation for 2 or 3 days, taking weeks on a ketogenic diet, maybe endurance runner having to run 15, 20 miles. Now we can simply get all the amazing benefits of ketones in less than 59 minutes, simply by shaking it up and drinking it and putting it into your body. So I'm trying to help to make this scroll here a little bit. So the next question I got this morning was actually about headaches. Someone had said, why would someone actually get a headache if they were drinking exogenous ketones? Because they had read one of the benefits of ketones is actually helping with migraines or headache. So it could be a couple reasons. Number one, and first and foremost, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Ketones are an amazing diuretic. They help pull water out of fat cells. So the first sign we see of someone being dehydrated can be fatigue, it can be dizziness, it can be a headache, it can be constipation. So if you're mildly dehydrated and you drink ketones knowing they're an amazing diuretic, that headache you're experiencing may be that you're having not enough water or too many ketones too quickly. Magnesium is also an element that can cause increase in headaches. So simply just slow down your serving size of ketones as you start and make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Secondly, if you're using the charged version, which means with caffeine, and you're already drinking maybe some fat coffee, some keto cream, some coffee in the morning, coffee in the afternoon, and you're using the charged version, you may actually be getting too much caffeine in your diet. So you can simply reduce that if you want to keep your coffee in your diet and the keto cream, and you just want to use the uncharged, which means without caffeine in your ketones. I'm very blessed here today. I've got a ketone friend of mine who stopped by, or Pruvit friend to stop by. She's going to be helping me read the questions so I can be super efficient and get to everyone's questions as fast as I can.
What about ketones and menopause, Heather?
So ketones and menopause, this is a very common question because we hear amazing experiences about people who start drinking exogenous ketones and they have a better balance of hormones, whether it's PMS or hot flashes, or men experience more virulence or increased strength gain, which is part of improving testosterone. Ketones do not contain any hormones. It's a hard thing for sometimes people to swallow, so there is no hormones when we're drinking the keto products. But what we do know, and what's being studied right now as we speak about it, is ketones are amazing signalers for our brain. Our brain dictates the whole entire function of our body. So whether it's premenopause, postmenopause, PMS, andropause, which happens in men, growth hormone, which happens in children, ketones are signalers. So when we're adding extra beta-hydroxybutyrate, the ketone body beta-hydroxybutyrate, we get increased signaling production to our reproductive organs and to our whole entire body. Secondly, oftentimes menopause or hot flashes are actually caused from too much sugar. We know ketones do an amazing job at balancing sugar and reducing cravings. So if you're drinking Keto OS or Max and you're experiencing less hot flashes, less cravings, it's because that's the beta-hydroxybutyrate's job. That's what it does in your body.
Heather, would the same apply for thyroid issues?
So question about thyroid. This is a common question for everyone. We're experiencing a lot of people in the middle, I would say a lot more people coming in with thyroid issues. So very simple. The thyroid is the ignition for your body, and the adrenal glands are its sister organs, or the engine for your body. So if we know that ketones provide more oxygen, more ATP at that cellular level, it makes sense that our body is going to start much better. So yes, we see improvement of people sharing improvement with their thyroid health, more energy throughout the day, more stabilization throughout the day. With thyroid people who have some thyroid imbalance, they often experience trouble actually getting up in the morning. They're the people who hit the snooze 3 or 4 times, or once they sit, they stop and drop. So it makes sense if you're putting a better fuel or a native fuel source back in our body, that our thyroid and our adrenals should run much better. So a better fuel source is what ketone bodies do to help your thyroid.
I see some questions on kidney and bladder.
So great question here. That's a really common question. Is there any contraindication or any reason, if you've had a history of kidney issue or bladder issue, that you should not use exogenous ketones? The research out there is actually contradictory towards that. It actually tells us that using ketones or being on a ketogenic diet can actually improve bladder and kidney function. Remember, when you have to go to the bathroom, it's a signaling happening from our brain. It's kind of a negative feedback loop. So it makes sense if we're getting our brain functioning at a higher level, we're increasing signaling from our brain to our kidneys and our bladder, it should run much better. There is some literature on a true ketogenic diet that there has been some history or some experiencing people causing kidney stones. So let's make sure we're talking about the difference between endogenous ketones, which our body makes. We have to go through all of our glucose. That's the starvation, ketogenic diet. The liver has to go out there and say, hey, let's get some more energy, break apart that fat. The liver and the kidney have to do quite a bit of work in order to make your own ketones called endogenous. With exogenous ketones, your liver, your stomach, your gallbladder, if you have it or don't have it, your pancreas, doesn't have to do anything. You simply just have to mix it up and drink it. It's water soluble, so it's absorbed right into our body. Our body uses what it needs and it excretes what it doesn't need. So hopefully that helps answer your questions about the safety and efficacy using exogenous ketones if you have a history or concern about liver or kidney issues. My questions aren't scrolling here at all, so Laura's helping me scroll here on the computer. Now I see them scrolling here a little bit.
Ketones for fuel, Heather.
So that's a great question. When to use ketones, and are ketones a source of fuel? And the answer is absolutely yes. We actually get energy for the body that we need from the foods that we eat or the things that we drink. So we can drink exogenous ketones and get more energy, more ATP, and ATP is just another name for gasoline for our body, which allows our body to run much better and much smoother. So you'll hear people experiencing amazing energy they hadn't had before, even through their workouts, even through just their 9-to-5 job, that they're recovering from that 9-to-5 job better, come home and have more energy to do things, because we're putting more oxygen and more ATP, or gasoline, so to speak, at that cellular level. There's also the converse question, well, if ketones are an amazing energy source, why would I get tired if I'm drinking ketones? Because that's a common question. We also look at the clinical data, seeing that ketones actually help reduce our excitatory neurons. That's why people get laser-like focus, because if you reduce that excitatory neurons, your brain actually processes things at the proper rate, not over-processing the hopping things. So if we can reduce that excitatory neurons, we're going to increase focus. It's going to allow our brain to actually slow down better when we get ready to go to bed. So you'll hear several people actually drinking ketones about 45 minutes before they go to bed if they've had trouble sleeping in the past. And we're getting more oxygen to our brain. Think of all those people on a CPAP at night to sleep that need more oxygen. Drinking ketones offer more oxygen. Again, it's water soluble, so it's not to be used in substitution for a CPAP or something like that. But they're getting more oxygen at that cellular level, which actually downregulates or slows down our excitatory neurons. So better focus, better sleep, better recall, less anxiety, all those amazing things. However, if you drink too many ketones too quickly, instead of having amazing energy and going out and raking all the leaves in your yard, that's what's happening here in Kansas, you may actually feel a little tired. But that's actually okay. A lot of us are just go, 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 go in this world today, that our brain does need to have a little help slowing down. So it's amazing when that happens to your body.
Heather, what about pregnancy and ketones?
So Laura's saying there's a question about pregnancy and ketones. As always said before, please check with your healthcare provider before starting any nutritional supplement, and that goes for ketones as well. Yes, ketones are safe for pregnant women. Please make sure you're drinking plenty of water and check with your healthcare provider, and use the uncharged or caffeine-free. You know, ketones can deliver more oxygen to the body. It can help stabilize your blood sugar, which is a common thing that people experience. And just if you've ever been pregnant, you know how tired you can be, especially if it's not your first pregnancy, but you've got other kiddos running around. So it's an amazing source of energy. Helps balance out your blood sugar. Dr. Veach has done some of the studies on that. So 100% safe for pregnancy and breastfeeding. Just check with your healthcare provider first.
Heather, we talked about diabetes. Type 2 diabetes.
So type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So there's a lot of stories shared about people who start using a ketogenic diet or adding exogenous ketones, and they are finding a more stable blood sugar level. What happens is when we're eating healthy fats, our body doesn't require any insulin. When we're eating carbohydrates or excess sizes of protein, our body needs insulin every single time. So with fats, we don't need any insulin, which means we won't find that yo-yoing or dropping of the insulin. So if you want more information on that, and that it is safe for type 1, type 2, and type 3 diabetes, please go to the Help Center, which is at pruvitnow.com. Click on the question mark in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll see the amazing Help Center open up there. It's an expanded definition of what I've shared here today with you. But yes, we have amazing stories, and even I have patients in my office experiencing lower blood sugar levels, because with type 2 diabetes, they have high blood levels and they use medication to help bring it down. Well, if your cravings are reduced, it makes sense that you're going to eat less carbohydrates or less garbage, which means you're going to use less insulin, which means your insulin level is going to automatically come down. If you have better energy, you're more likely to snack less. Again, if you're snacking on sugary foods, your body needs more insulin. So for type 2 diabetes, you're actually saying, or I would say calling less to have less insulin used. So it does downregulate or require less insulin on a day-to-day basis if you're eating better food or making better choices, eating less frequent, and eating less garbage. And again, as Dr. Veach has shown us, that we actually elicit less insulin requirements.
Crystal asked about using ketones to gain weight or muscle mass.
Great question, Crystal. So we know that Keto OS and Max are not a weight loss product. However, the benefits do lead to fat loss. So let's not confuse fat with muscle, because I know for my own son, he actually gained about 20 pounds of muscle because he wasn't having the carbohydrate cravings. What happens if you're on a high carbohydrate diet, when your body runs out of energy, because carbohydrates only give us about 30 minutes of energy, you actually tap into your lean muscle and break that down. So even if you're losing weight on the scale, you're losing additional lean muscle mass. Ketones are muscle preserving. So you see, if you go to our Better magazine, you're going to see people like Tony Freeman, Paul Carter, these amazing big bodybuilders using ketones to reduce inflammation and to aid in increasing lean muscle mass, which aids in actually increasing weight. So what happens with ketones being our native fuel source, your body will lose the unwanted fat that it doesn't need and will preserve the lean muscle mass that you do need. So we're hearing a lot of evidence out there, and I know that Dr. Jacob and Ryan are doing some amazing studies about increasing lean muscle mass, decreasing percentage of body fat, but increasing the amount of muscle pounds you have on your body. So absolutely you can use ketones to help increase your body weight and lean muscle mass, and use it to actually help eliminate some of that unwanted fat.
Heather, I've had a couple of folks who've newly joined. You might let them know that they can go back and look at the beginning of the video.
Oh, that's a great question. So Laura's telling me there's some people who have jumped on late, and some of the questions we actually already answered earlier in our session today. So know that you can go back and replay this if you're brand new to Pruvit. Maybe this is the first time you've been on a Facebook Live. You can also go back to the video section, and all the past weeks of Facebook Lives are there, so you can get more information and help share the conversation with other people.
What is a safe age to start Pruvit?
So what is a safe age, or who can take Pruvit? So we say womb to tomb, right? So it's safe for pregnant women, it's safe for breastfeeding women, which means it's safe for infants. We know as we age that our brain actually loses the ability to uptake glucose, but still amazingly can uptake ketones. So it is safe for everyone of all ages. Of course, if you've got a health history, if you're a younger child, I'm going to suggest or recommend caffeine-free. If you're an older population, probably caffeine-free as well. If you're on any type of hypertensive medication or diabetic medication, caffeine-free as well. Caffeine can sometimes elevate your blood pressure, elevate your pulse. We know caffeine's an amazing, amazing diuretic as it pulls water out of those fat cells. We also know it's adding more oxygen. So it is safe womb to tomb. Again, just check with your healthcare provider first.
What about keto flu?
I love this question. What about keto flu? So with Keto OS and Max, you do not have to be on a ketogenic diet. You can be on any diet that you choose to be on, but Pruvit does focus on a whole natural, eating clean food, eating mindfully, eating greens and lean meats and not processed foods and unwanted sugary things. But with that being said, you can be on paleo, modified paleo, a vegan diet, ketogenic diet, low carb diet, kosher diet, whichever diet you prefer. So with that being said, you can use Keto OS any time of the day, throughout the day, so you don't have to strictly be on a ketogenic diet. So the question was keto flu. Keto flu is a word that you find, I actually call it carb flu, on people who are transitioning over from a standard Western diet to a ketogenic diet as they lower those carbohydrates, because we know sugar is very, very addicting. But what we have now is an amazing tool. We can use exogenous ketones so if we choose to be on a ketogenic diet or low carb diet, and as we transition off those carbohydrate or garbage, the ketones will feed your brain and give more energy at that cellular level, so you won't experience that carb flu or keto flu. Again, that's a term used when people are on a true ketogenic diet, reducing their carbohydrates. Now we get all those minerals put back, and when you look at the back of the package, you're going to see there's things like magnesium, potassium, there's some B vitamins actually in the orange. Those are used to replace what is natural, the normal diuretic process.
Amaris is asking about anxiety and depression with ketones.
So there's a question about anxiety and depression. And again, if I don't give a complete answer here, please use your search engine and Google ketones and any other information. It was anxiety, depression. There are recent clinical studies showing that ketones downregulate our excitatory neurons, so actually help with anxiety. We talk about depression. We know there's a thing called sugar blues. If ketones help us reduce less sugar, get more oxygen to the brain, it makes sense that it should help balance out our moods altogether, whether it's anxiety, depression, whichever the mood may be. Ketones are amazing signalers. So when you're drinking Keto OS or Max, there's no hormones in there. You're simply getting the ketone body, beta-hydroxybutyrate, that your body would produce if you were on a ketogenic diet. So it helps balance out our moods and stabilize. We look at the clinical correlation between sugar causing anxiety, sugar causing depression. We know that if we reduce those unwanted garbage in our body, that our brain should be at a much more balanced level.
Heather, does the same apply for patients who maybe are suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia?
So great question there. There's so many people out there being diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. We know that our dear friend and ambassador, Dr. Mary Newport, wrote a book in 2008, so 10 years ago. She wrote a book about coconut oil and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and dementia, and now we have 143, so I guess this is the best time to talk about it. We talked about type 3 diabetes being Alzheimer's. It's just diabetes of the brain. We know our brain as we age loses the ability to uptake glucose, but can still uptake ketones. 143 is an amazing brain blend, I would say, that would help your brain actually function better or feed your brain at that cellular level. It doesn't have any ketones in there. There's no beta-hydroxybutyrate, but It has in a blend of C6 to C8, the right chain of carbon that Dr. Mary has studied a decade on, getting it to be the most absorbable in your brain. Also have some AC11 in there, which helps our gene expression stay youthful as we start to age. Also has some phosphatidylcholine, which you find in egg yolks, but the same is about 2 eggs. Choline is very important for brain cognition. So when we talk about Alzheimer's and dementia, we know the data is out there about coconut oil, MCT, which is a medium chain triglyceride, and now Pruvit has made the proper formulation for all brain health. Don't wait till you get Alzheimer's or dementia, but if you do have someone suffering from that, know that there is healthy nutrition you can start today. If you want to have great brain health as you age or as your kiddos age, you can add this to salad. You can put it you can mix it with any type of sauce. If you're making like a stir fry, if your egg salad or chicken salad's dry, you can stick it in there. You can put it in your coffee, in your tea, in a smoothie. You can add it in anything that you want. You're just getting a healthy version of fats. And if you have a dairy allergy, maybe you love the keto cream but can't use the keto cream because of the dairy allergy, this is a great alternative to use or addition to use to get those more healthy fats into your body or your brain.
Marty asked about liver disease and ketones.
So Marty's asking about liver disease and ketones. So Marty, there's an extended version of this explanation found in the Help Center, which you can find at pruvitnow.com. But when we're making endogenous ketones, when our body's doing all the work, the liver has to do a ton of work. That's why I love exogenous ketones, because I've had patients who've had compromised liver function. Maybe they've had a significant health history. They don't have healthy livers. When you're drinking exogenous ketones, the liver doesn't have to do anything. So it's 100% safe for any type of person having liver issues or liver concerns, because you simply have to drink it in water. It goes into your bloodstream. Your mitochondria or cells or body, whichever you want to refer to, your cells use what it needs and eliminates what it doesn't need. The liver in a true ketogenic state has to go out there, grab the fat, uncouple it, make the ketone bodies itself. So now you have an amazing option. If you do have a history of liver, kidney, gallbladder, stomach issues, it's water soluble. That means you drink it, it's in your body anywhere from 2 to 6+ hours. And again, your body eliminates out normally what it doesn't need.
I did have a question here also about asthma and ketones.
So let's talk about inflammation. There seems to be several questions going on about inflammation, whether it's thyroiditis or maybe a concussion is inflammation of your brain if your kid's playing soccer or baseball, diverticulitis, which is inflammation of the stomach, arthritis, which is inflammation of the joints, rheumatoid arthritis, any type of autoimmune disease. Back in 2015, Dr. Dominic D'Agostino and Dr. Angela Poff did a study on a mouse model showing that beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is a ketone body found in the Ketomax and Biomax, stops a cascade of inflammatory markers that happen. So if you normally are going to experience inflammation, I kick you in the knee, your body will elicit all these things that say, hey, there's inflammation going on. We know that chronic inflammation, those markers don't stop, your body keeps sending it out, or autoimmune, it actually is attacking itself. We know that beta-hydroxybutyrate inhibits that cascade of happening. So whether it's acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, autoimmune inflammation, we know that beta-hydroxybutyrate at a cellular level can help decrease inflammation. So amazing for any itis, which means inflammation. Looks like we've got time for a couple more questions here.
Lots of people are putting on here what great results they're having and all kinds of wonderful positive stories.
So awesome. I love hearing all those amazing stories. Laura's saying that you guys are sharing your amazing testimonies with us and experiences. I see a question here about salt, which I would love to address. So sodium is one of the most abundant minerals in our body. Every single cell in our body needs sodium. The question is, why is there sodium in Biomax and Keto OS? Why are they in different proportions? So in the orange, it has additional MCT oil, which our body can make additional ketones in. It makes sense that we need to have a little bit more sodium in the orange because it has the additional MCT. The Max doesn't have any MCT in it, so you'll see the sodium level is left. Our formulators are brilliant. They are genius. They know how to make a formula to put us in ketosis in less than 59 minutes. The sodium is put in there in the proper ratio to help replace what is normally lost through normal diuretic process. We know, we know where most of us are walking around slightly dehydrated anyway, just from our environment or from our foods. So the sodium is put in there, number one, to help replace what is lost through the normal diuretic process, and number two, to help alkalize. Ketones are very acidic. Even though our stomach's very acidic, there's different pHs, different parts of our body. So the sodium is there to help alkalize it. Again, if you want a more extended answer, you can certainly go to the Help Center and they can give you more additional information there. And yes, if you're finding a person who's seeing that scale move pretty quickly, you're losing a lot of pounds of of inflammation or a lot of pounds of fat. You're also losing important nutrients like sodium, potassium, magnesium. Your doctor can simply check those lab results. It's a simple little lab test. You can get the results back in a day or two, but please add additional sea salt. Again, it's super important for your body, super important if you're losing a lot of pounds on the scale, a lot of inflammation, that you put that sodium back in your body in the form of pink Himalayan sea salt, kosher salt, Celtic salt, any of those natural salts, because again, that's the number one thing on our blood panel when we look at that. Sodium is so important for every single cell. It would help things with a headache, or maybe you think you're having a little carb or keto flu. Add some additional sodium in there. That will, in your water, on your food, on your veggies, totally safe for you to do. I know we've been told in the past that fat is bad and salt is bad, but the new clinical data is showing us now that we absolutely need salt in our diet, or sodium. We absolutely need healthy fats in our diet.
We have about 5 minutes left. Want another question?
Yep.
All right. Somebody asked about ketones helping with low blood pressure, which is not something I normally see.
So great. So blood pressure question is a common question that I also receive at the office. Well, I heard I can't use sodium because I'm on blood pressure medication. I'm already on a diuretic. I'm already taking natural elements. How would ketones help me with my blood pressure? So if you're a person who has hypertension, that means your blood pressure is too high. Number one, make sure you're drinking enough water, because the first sign of dehydration is increased blood pressure, increased pulse. We also know anxiety actually can increase blood pressure. We talked about ketones actually helping reduce anxiety. So ketones can help reduce anxiety, which would lower the blood pressure. We know ketones put more oxygen into the cellular level. That can also help lower blood pressure, correct? And again, I would use the uncharged version of Keto OS and maybe have with a little bit of fat or a little bit of protein to help slow down the absorption. Conversely, if you're a person who has low blood pressure, or you're hypotensive, or that generally relates to, it's called orthostatic hypertension, is an adrenal issue. So we talked early on in our news feed today that the thyroid is the ignition and the adrenal glands are the engine for our body. So we know that adding healthy sodium actually helps our adrenal glands function better. Adrenal glands control our mineral corticotropin hormone, which is another word for blood pressure. So we know that low blood pressure can absolutely benefit from using ketones. The additional salts in the body can help bring that blood pressure up to a more healthy level. And it's serious adding a little bit more caffeine with it. So the charged version, I know Dr. Ford talked about this at Epic, that there's a lot of clinical data out there. Adding the right combination of caffeine in with the ketone body, BHB, actually helps your body absorb it and utilize it much better and much more efficiently.
We have a gallbladder question from Lori.
So gallbladder question, I think this will be our last question today, and then we'll review the products for everyone who's new. So there's a lot of concern if you don't have a gallbladder, you shouldn't be on a high-fat diet. When we're drinking Keto OS and Biomax, look at the back of the package. Besides the orange, there's no fat in any of the virgins because we're drinking the byproduct of fatty acid metabolism. Think about it if you're drinking an orange or eating an orange or drinking orange juice, or you take a vitamin C tablet, which is ascorbic acid. The same thing is here. When we're drinking the Max or the Keto OS, we're drinking the byproduct of fatty acid metabolism. So you're going to see that there's no fat in here. What our gallbladder does with digestion is after the stomach dumps in a bunch of acid and emulsifies our food, our gallbladder also sprinkles some extra things on there to help our liver get ready for absorption and sifting and sorting the good stuff from the bad stuff. So if you've had your gallbladder removed, a history of gallbladder attacks, a history of gallstones, then this is an amazing product for you, someone who wants to experience ketosis without having a gallbladder or being unable to do the diet because of maybe some digestive disturbances. This is an amazing option for you. You can simply drink Keto OS or Max in any amazing flavors and get all the amazing benefits. Your gallbladder doesn't have to do anything. Your pancreas doesn't have to do anything. Your stomach doesn't have to do anything. Your liver doesn't have to do anything. You have to simply just drink it up. So hopefully that makes sense. I know that's a very common question. People get concerned. I don't have a gallbladder. I've had stomach issues. I've had a history of liver issues, whether it's hepatitis or mono, or maybe you've even had a liver transplant or a kidney transplant, only one kidney. Water soluble means it's excreted throughout the day. It isn't stored. If something's fat soluble, like vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, those things are fat soluble vitamins or foods that get stored. We say it's water soluble, like vitamin C or vitamin B. Your body simply washes out what it doesn't need. So we are going to review the last products. If I didn't get your question answered, I'm sincerely sorry. Hopefully that you can go back and replay this week's. If you got on here late, you can go back and listen to last week or the week before and help get all those questions answered. Go to the help Help Center, a lot of amazing information there that maybe wasn't answered today. I did always try to do my best and answer the bulk of questions that I can, but if you're brand new to Pruvit, or maybe you've been drinking Pruvit Keto S or Max for a few months, but you have no idea what you're drinking, you just know you're feeling amazing, then let's talk about what's in those products. So I printed a sheet today instead of doing the packets. Someone said it was hard to see. So we have an orange packet and we have a purple packet. This is called Orange Dream, which is 2.1. It has additional MCT oil in it. So MCT can be further broken down with our liver to make additional ketones. If you've had a history of stomach issues, or you have a funny stomach, or you're a sensitive stomach, or easily nauseated, maybe easily constipated, or easily have irritable bowel, then I would suggest not using the orange because of the MCT. So the orange was the original one. Then we have chocolate, which is 3.0. So if you have stomach issues, the chocolate would be an amazing option for you. It tastes like a Tootsie Roll. We have additional prebiotic called inulin or chicory root, which is an amazing molecule. What it does is help turn on healthy gut bugs in your stomach. So you may experience a little bit of increased gas. That's okay. We're just turning on healthy gut bugs. It also has butyric acid in there, which is really helpful for inflammation. So we took the MCT oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride in the orange, and we made it shorter, which is butyric acid, which is a short chain fatty acid, and we have 4 additional ketone friendly amino acids. So that is the Keto OS, orange swirl, and chocolate. Now we have the Maxes. So again, instead of holding up packets, I thought I'd do a picture. So the Max comes in 3 amazing flavors. What makes it different? Max is up to 40% more bioavailable. Okay, what does that mean? That means it's almost 40% more potent or stronger, more likely that your body's going to absorb it. It will vary from individual to individual, but if you're a person who has been on a standard carbitarian diet and you're super sensitive to things and you're finding the Max is still giving you maybe a little bit of a stomach issue, a little bit of a headache, then I would actually order the OS and use the OS since it is 40% less bioavailable or potent, and simply start with that and work up to the Max if you're still finding a reduced serving of the Max is too much. However, the Max, the salts are kosher certified. That is not the same for the OS. The salts are not kosher certified. The salt being the ketone body beta hydroxybutyrate, it is vegan certified. We see it comes in 3 amazing flavors. It comes in Maui Punch, raspberry lemonade, and chocolate swirl. So before we get done here today, drop a 1 down if you're using the Keto OS. Give us a 2 and the flavor if you're using Max or love the Max. Again, 3 amazing flavors: Maui Punch, raspberry lemonade, and Swiss cacao. It also has additional ketone-friendly amino acids that your body can increase protein synthesis from the leucine and the tyrosine. Those are vegan as well, and you're going to see it still guarantees 99% of the time you're going to get into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. So hopefully that helps clarify it. All of them come with or without caffeine, so charged or uncharged. You can mix and match anything that you want. Maybe a little raspberry lemonade with orange, maybe a little Swiss cacao with the chocolate swirl. You can mix it hot, you can mix it cold, you can put it coffee, tea, you can make a slushie out of it. I've even make little jello jigglers out of it, which kids love to do, or I just love to pop a little BHB as I go throughout my day. So you can make fat bombs and cookies and all sorts of amazing things. Mix it up if you're tired of the taste or just want something new. And how do you start using it? You simply start substituting your non-water beverages. So that would be maybe your sports drinks or your sodas or your juices. And instead of having those sugary drinks, simply add in the Keto S or Max in place of that. 1 serving a day is considered therapeutic. 2 servings a day is considered optimal performance. What happens if I get too many ketones because I love the flavor? Your body simply excretes out what it doesn't need. So if you're a person who loves that biohacking and you've seen other people share, like Dr. Ryan Lowry and Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, saying that they actually sometimes do 2 or 3, they just read their body. If they need more energy, they have more ketones. Know that they're not going to build up in your body because it's water soluble. And you can simply choose, again, listen to your body. When it's tired, drink the Keto OS. Oftentimes you'll hear me say drink it 30 minutes before your hangry, hungry, tired workout time. So if you're using it to get more energy, reduce inflammation as you work out, and to preserve your lean muscle mass, 30 to 40 minutes before your workout. If you're doing an extended workout of 2+ hours, I know a lot of our high school kids are getting ready to do 2-a-days with basketball, then 2 hours post-workout, have another half or full serving of Keto S or Max to continue to reduce inflammation and keep our muscle preservation. I also need to talk a little bit about the Amped because it has been in the shopping cart for the last 2 days. So the Amped is an amazing smooth blue coconut flavor. I'm going to have Laura hand it to me. And so it is amped, which means it's got a little more charge to it. So you're going to see it's this amazing, amazing light blue flavor. It's very, very smooth, but it does have a little more ketone body, a little more caffeine in it. It has some AC11, has additional B6, B12 in there. It's a little more amped version up there. I would suggest that you start with half a serving and kind of work your way up with that. Again, you can mix and match any of those that you want. What I did want to mention is all except for the orange are all dairy-free. All are gluten-free, soy-free, egg-free, shellfish-free, mushroom-free. I think those are the top ones. There's no artificial coloring or additives in any other products. They're naturally colored, naturally sweetened with stevia leaf or erythritol. You can find all that information at the Help Center. The package of the label also listed out. You can, again, find it on the website for more information. I do want to talk a minute about keto cream, which I had out here, our functional fat, since we have now optimized our cream. I can hold up the picture. I actually had the package here. It might be my cart. So now we have the functional fat cream. So we took the original amazing keto cream, which is MCT powder, coconut powder, a patent blend of Ceylon cinnamon. We've added 4 different strands of collagen, which is amazing for joint health, amazing for heart health. We've also added additional AC11, which actually helps our body stay more youthful or kind of anti-aging. If you want to speak, you can look up AC11 to get more information on that. Also additional B vitamins in there. Who or what would use this? There, it's not there. So keto cream can be used any time of the day. Anyone who's wanting to get more additional fats into your diet. So maybe start your day with keto cream in your coffee or tea, or maybe put in a smoothie for your kids. You can sprinkle it on if your kids are oatmeal lovers. It's getting cold now in Kansas, and you want to put it on their porridge or oats. You can simply sprinkle it on your porridge. You can actually make cookies out of it. There's a recipe on the Pruvit Facebook page. You can, again, mix it hot, mix it cold, have it any time of day. There is no beta hydroxybutyrate. There are no ketone bodies, and the functional fat cream, you're drinking the cream to get more additional fats, which your body can in turn make more ketone bodies. I want to thank you guys for being here with me today. If I did not get your questions answered, I'm sincerely sorry. If you popped on late, no, you can share this with your family, friends. You can tag someone in it. You can share it to your own Facebook page, send it through Messenger, go back and listen to the past ones. I want to thank Pruvit with always leading with education. I love my Wednesdays. I love when it's my turn to be on here. I'm so excited to help share you. You guys continue to inspire me with your amazing comments, your experiences, and I love that Pruvit, again, focuses on education, helping you be the best version of yourself. And I'm looking forward to seeing many of you in Dallas next weekend, so give a big 3 out there. Remember, 1 if you love OS, 2 if you're a Max consumer lover and your favorite flavor, and number 3 if you're going to be at our regional charge. So super exciting time to be with the Pruvit community, learn more about what Pruvit's doing with their research, with the products that are up and coming. So if you want to learn about that, show up at Charge November 3rd and 4th in Dallas, Texas. Have an amazing day.